Canelo Alvarez showcases why he's still the man at the top of the boxing rankings. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the StayWeighedIn YouTube channel. I'm joined by my man Ray. How you doing?
I'm a man that owes Mr. Saul Alvarez an apology, but
Hey,
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
listen, he's back on top, and do you know what? I'm happy to see, and I'm happy to see what you said because we'll go straight into it. Canelo Alvarez beats Jermell Charlo unanimous decision, and I'm gonna say this was 12 rounds of a control fight from Canelo Alvarez. It wasn't a beatdown, but he never allowed Jermell Charlo to ever settle. And I think we'll talk about his post-fight interview as well, what he indicated about it for me, and what I felt, what his strategy was going into this fight. Then from that, but from your take, because you give Jermell Charlo 45% chance, and I said to you, whether there's high and then there's very high, and you're giving a very high chance. Talk to me about this fight, what you made of it.
Listen, we all no, not let me not say all. A lot of us got effed up. Do you know who we owe another apology to? John Ryder, because Ryder went out there and he was a glutton for punishment and kept on going forward and kept on trying to fight Canelo on Canelo's home turf in Mexico. Big production, all of that. And I feel like because he couldn't finish John Ryder, I think people started acting like, to be fair, like I even said it, Canelo might be in his twilight. And I think that fight, we might have underestimated John's toughness because watching this fight yesterday, or this morning, shall I say, it was kind of like there were certain points I watched Charlo try to mount an offense and Canelo walked through it. And I was speaking to one of my guys from the group chats whilst the fight was happening, my shout out Denzel. And we was just like, there's one time I think Charlo hit Canelo with a clean left hook. And Canelo just took it and kept on marching forward. And you see after that, even me and my boy jokes, I said, brother, Charlo, get on your bike. Get on. I don't know what round that was. I remember thinking there was one punch that was clean punch. And Canelo just ate it. And I said, brother, get on your bike because it's going to be a long night.
I was going to say with this, I think one of the things coming into it was the fact that we said kind of in the preview that look, Charlo, because he's now moving up 2 weights, it might be a bit easier in terms of the weight cutting side of things, and he's not going to have to worry about it. But when you looked at the fight itself and when he came into it and how it performed, he didn't have that slickness about him. Was there too much weight on him in this particular fight? Because kind of said, yo, I'm going to need to move back to 154 again type of thing.
Way too much. I think Charlo realized. Do you know what it is? He has the frame, but it's like the density of Canelo was way. I think Lennox Lewis put out a tweet like inside the ring is a whole lot different. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing him. Shout out Lennox Lewis. But you could see it when it's like inside the ring, whenever Charlo would try to mount offense, Canelo would either shut it down technically, or sometimes he would just keep marching forward, take it, and then bam, 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 he's just hitting his stuff off. I'm like, at that point, especially if you're an attacking fighter like Charlo, and you're like your solid shots ain't even hurting him, what do you do? Because what you automatically just become, I don't know, stick and move fighter that you don't normally, a tactic you don't normally employ. Like, what do you try to do? And I think in the moment got to him, and I think he just like was kind of like, yo, plan A, plan B. I don't know how many plans he had, but it's like the initial few plans that they have for Canelo, it went out the window when he realized he punched him, and it was kind of just like, it's going to be a long night because this guy ain't moving. And I just feel like the size difference really showed. And that's when I really said, like, there's weight classes for a reason, man. And Bud, I love Terrence Bud Crawford. I do.
Don't be silly.
Brother, I can't see how he beats Canelo.
Oh, no, I think we'll talk about that now then, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of segued it into a post-fight interview. Canelo goes, look, I came here, I put 12 rounds on to showcase why I'm the best fighter over 12 rounds type of thing. Kind of indicate how you said about the decline thing. And I think Canelo hears a lot. I think you kind of seen it evolve from this Mexican young boy, fresh, clean cut, whatever, the baby face to I'm Canelo Alvarez. I know I'm the best type of thing. And he hears all the hearsay about it. And he kind of said, look, I wanted to showcase over 12 rounds how great I am. I love the sport. I'll fight anybody now. You got Terrence Crawford, who wants to make this fight, but realistically, you're jumping up 3 weight classes. I don't think that's the sensible thing. But on the other side, the WBC pushed for it's sometime in November. I can't remember the date. For Andrade versus Benavidez, and the winner finally. Just because of what we've seen from this display, regardless of whoever wins from there, even if they fight Canelo, what realistic chance do you give them to be able to beat Canelo? Because again, I say it before and I say again, you cannot doubt Canelo Alvarez.
You can't doubt him, but I give them way more chances because that's your natural weight. Do you get what I'm saying? Now it's like if he faces, excuse me, the winner of Benavidez and Andrade, it's like that's your size mates. So even if it's a case of, look at, for example, what this fight kind of eerily reminded me of was Caleb Plant and Canelo, where Canelo had the power, but because Caleb Plant come on sweet hands for a reason, he was smooth with it, he was gliding, he was sticking and moving, but ultimately the power difference showed and he succumbed to it. And I feel like that's when weight classes really matter, because Charlo's style, if they're in the same weight class, that fight could be different. I'm not saying he's winning, but I'm saying it can be different. Evidence A being how Plant fought. However, with Benavidez, I feel like because Benavidez is even big for super middleweight, so I think that's why that fight's going to be more intriguing if he gets through Andrade, because then it's just like, all right, cool. You lot acted like this guy's the boogeyman, who, in fact, and I've been saying this for a while, I'm sure I said the last episode, the real boogeyman is David Morrell Jr., the Cuban hitter. He is the real boogeyman in that division. That's the guy. If that guy gets more momentum under his belt, by the time Canelo has that third fight left in his PBC contract, and if he gets through Benavidez, that might be a fight that might be tricky if Dave Morrell keeps on going the way he's going.
I was gonna say, for me, like, no disrespect, just like how maybe I am being disrespectful, but I don't rate Andrade like that. So I kind of only see one winner in this fight coming up.
What do you see? Horrible fighter.
Yeah, I don't look at him and be like, that's a challenge. Going into if Canelo fights Benavidez, similarly to what I personally think now, do we have a new motivated Canelo in his twilight of his career? Because he's 65 wins, 60 wins in his career. And I'm going to touch on this little comparison with him and Crawford in terms of legacy 1 and 2. But are we looking at the twilight of Canelo's career, as you mentioned, but arguably the most motivated he can be right now just to make another point in his career?
To be this successful and he's found a new way to motivate himself is scary, because I think the last 2 fights at the Zone, he was demotivated. Let's be real. Cool. You lost the Bivol fight. Is what it is. It was a bit of a tall task for him. Then he went in to face Gennady Golovkin in a third match, which was just a big payday, but then the Ryder fight came where it was just like, cool, Ryder, I get to do a big showcase in front of my people, but I'm sure competition-wise, it wasn't the most motivating. So obviously now that he signed to PBC and Showtime, it's just like all these people that you lot were saying I was scared of, it's almost like that new motivation. Okay, wait for me. Oh, I'm coming back for you guys. Just remember what you said. And I feel like this is now him, the little bit of, I won't even say the little bit, but the remaining gas that he's got in the tank is going to be on the revenge tour of all you people that thought that I avoided these guys. I'm forwarding to them now. So Benavidez or Andrade, because both of them were two people trying to go on, like Canelo's trying to duck them. The Charlos, well, I won't even say the Charlos because I'm not trying to be funny. Jermell is a middleweight who is going through stuff right now, and I hope he can sort his personal life out. And Jermell showed why there's reason for weight classes. So after, if Canelo finds a way to beat Benavidez / Andrade, that third fight, it could be Crawford. It could be on the case of, now here's where it gets tricky. For me, Crawford should really go, if he wants to move up, it should be 154 then 160 max. 168 is the blatant, like, cool. This is, I think Crawford's also like, I've got like 2 or 3 more fights in me. It's all about the money now. Accomplishment wise, I've done what I needed to do. I've got the belts. Everything from now on is big money fights. Cool. I don't like hearing if Charlo goes straight into this Crawford fight, only because I feel like with Charlo it's almost like, because he's coming off the loss to Canelo, it kind of takes the shine away from him. What I feel like should happen is Charlo faces maybe the winner of Tim Tszyu, whoever, like, he goes belt stripped off for him.
Yeah, I believe it is Tim Tszyu.
Yeah, Tim Tszyu. So I think Tim Tszyu is going to defend it against Guy called Mendoza. So if he goes back, circles the block, and fights Tim Tszyu and beats him, then he should face Crawford. And then maybe in the meantime, this is where it gets difficult, because Crawford sounds like he doesn't want to fight Errol Spence, because it's just like, why? I've done what I've done to him. At 154 is going to be the same thing. In my ideal world,
it will be. I don't think at 154 it will be.
It's not going to be much difference. It won't be. And you know me, I'm still an Errol Spence guy, and it hurts me to say this, but I can't see there being any difference. But he's a fighter's fighter, and he will go out there on his shield trying to know that he put everything out there. So if it was up to me, I'd say make the fight ASAP between Jermell and Crawford, even though I'll be a bit upset about it, but it is what it is. Make the fight between Jermell and Crawford. If Crawford wins, or not even, just forget that if Crawford wins, whoever wins that relinquishes the belts, and then I'd really like to see if Errol Spence can get a belt at 154 before he's done. That's what I'd like to see. And then just let Errol Spence, hopefully that rematch doesn't happen, and then Errol Spence takes his time to recover, and then also comes back and has a solid fight at 154 and gets the belt there. But it's a bit of a traffic jam at 154, because Crawford, I feel like the way he was speaking on Jermell Charlo, it was almost like, I don't even want to fight you no more. You're not even, like, the shine's not even there no more for us to have the fight. So it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds there. And yeah,
I will say this though, because Errol's activated the rematch clause.
Yeah.
If Crawford is gonna move up to 154, if you want to put the whole complete Errol Spence, I understand that people have said the chapter's put to one side anyway. But if you want it fully cemented the same way, I think Canelo fully cemented it in that trilogy fight to say, don't compare me to Gennady. I am better than him. Whatever happened, I am here. I have done it. I do think if he can make that fight and win as convincingly, or just win that fight, I think that shuts that chapter up. But I think I don't know if Crawford is going to actually push up to 154, but I'd like the Jermell Charlo fight with him, like you mentioned. One thing I just want to touch on before we do that, just wrap up, is both guys, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, in the same era, but I think you had Canelo that was always peak number one, and it was like everyone else is below him. Because of his losses, Crawford kind of became that unanimous number one, you could say.
Yeah.
Who has a bigger boxing legacy if they were to fight each other right now?
Canelo. It's Canelo. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Is absolutely.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because I also believe that no matter what Crawford can achieve, because he's undisputed in 2 weight classes, Canelo's legacy for boxing, the the fact that he's a bigger superstar globally, he's the cash cow, all of that.
It's not even that, yeah.
Everything
Let me try. I'm trying to find. There was a tweet that had Canelo's resume, and I just said, "Good Lord, like no one can chat to him. No one, like it just looked like the opponents he's faced, and do you know what? I'll just go off the top because I can't find it. But it had Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, Mayweather, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant. Who did he win the belt off? Smith, not Liam, Callum Smith, Bivol, Kovalev, Triple G 3 times. Brother, do you know how crazy that resume is? Obviously, whether wins or losses, to fight all of those people, yeah. So you fought previous generation greats, your own generation greats. Like, it's just a solid, like
I say it before, I know people get me, even though I watch Floyd, Canelo's the greatest boxer I'll ever watch. As in the whole totality of it. I've said it. I know it sounds crazy. He's probably got 60 wins. The only losses he had is when he dared to be great to fight Bivol, and arguably the greatest boxer of all time. That's the only 2 losses he had.
No. Do you know what I'll say? Yeah, I can't even blame you. I'm not going to do the whole like, oh, it can never. I can understand the argument. Would I agree? No, but I can definitely understand the argument. Definitely, I can't even say I don't understand that. I do. Because, yeah, like you said, especially, I think for me, sometimes it almost feels nostalgic looking at Canelo because I always mention like the first time I saw Canelo, it was like this pale ginger kid. I'm at uni just over a decade ago. And my boy Taichi, shout out Dan, he's just like, yo, we're probably watching it was a HBO time, so it was HBO fight night. I forgot who he's fighting. It might have been on a Miguel Cotto card or something. And then my boy goes, yo, have you seen this Canelo guy? I said, who's this? It's just like, trust me.
Hey, look, this is the same way I got introduced.
Yeah, brother, he was just like, I'm just like, right. I'm thinking this Irish boy is good. Obviously, because he's pale and ginger. I'm like, yeah, this Irish boy is good. Then he starts speaking Spanish. I said, what? He goes, nah, he's Mexican. That's why they call him Canelo. Like, and then he explained, obviously, I think Canelo is ginger in Spanish or something to that type of translation. I said, oh, and then ever since then, I was involved. And I know every single time Oscar De La Hoya is kicking himself for dropping the ball on that. Because, man, one thing I will say, side note, I don't care what no one says. I know for a fact. Obviously, he went for business reasons, money-wise and competition-wise. I know Canelo misses Eddie Hearn. Because the production was decent, but from seeing what the production was for Canelo on the Zone, he made it feel like, yo, this is a big fight. This is epic proportions. And I just feel like this fight just felt like it was just another, like, it was high level, but at the same time, this ain't just high level. This is like witnessing greatness. Like, we need it to resemble that. Like, obviously, you saw with like Canelo previously when Matchroom had him, it was like the mariachi bands.
When he did the homecoming, Eddie Hearn made him feel like he was the biggest star of combat sports on the planet that day.
And he was. Listen, everyone can, obviously, it's the whole fun thing to make fun of, like Eddie for, oh, Matchroom ain't doing too good well right now, etc., etc. One thing about Eddie, when it comes to production, that man knows how to put on a show. And I feel like, I don't know, these PBC cards, it's almost like because they've got a winning formula, it's like they got A grade formula. But I feel like when Eddie and Matchroom have a star. They know how to put on an A+ show.
Yeah.
I feel like that little plus was missing, but
This is gonna sound weird, but the production feels Americanized, if that makes sense. I don't. Do
yes,
you
very
know what I
much
mean?
so.
Whereas with Eddie,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was like very cookie cutter as like
Head
it's like
makes it
Tank could have.
more not European, global.
Look, that is, I think that's the difference. Because even like with Tank, it's like it's a great American fight.
Yeah.
It's not, but Eddie makes it a global fight. Even like there's different type of productions. Like I'm not even going to give Top Rank credit for this because I've always said I don't like Top Rank's production. I feel like they can do better. They need to invest more in their production. But you see, like when Inoue fights, it feels special. When Inoue fights is like it's just a different level of production. And then I think that's just for me. I feel like the production could have been better, but we roll the punches.
Yo, my internet just cut off there for a
What are you gonna do?
We'll carry on, and I'll just try to cut it up. But yeah, as we were saying before that little mishap, the production, Showtime feels American, and I understand why, because it caters to an American audience predominantly. Eddie Hearn is able to take it to a global scale, even if it's an arena or whatever it is.
He makes it feel like a spectacular event because even when it was like, I always in my mind always go back to like AJ first, Vladimir Klitschko, which was just like big. Even I thought it was even over the top, but at least you're trying. And then, like I said, I remember seeing Canelo's entrance first rider for his homecoming.
Boy.
And I'm watching it thinking, oh my, the gloss on this is amazing.
A WrestleMania entrance.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Like, obviously, that's the golden standard to entrance is WWE because say what that man Vince is an absolute devil, but my goodness, does that company know how to put on a show? And I feel like that's what Eddie Hearn, what I like about him, he learns from whether it's like UFC or others. He's not too ashamed to be like, all right, cool, we see what they're doing right. Let's admittedly be like, we're not doing it like that, and we need to incorporate it. Whereas other companies, it's like you got too much ego to just be like, oh yeah, they're doing it well, so let's learn from them. It's kind of that's what I've always said. Top Rank has the best roster. They have no stars, and they don't know how to make stars. They haven't made a star in a while. So, where's that mine?
Is that yours?
That my internet connection this time.
But do you know what? We'll wrap up then because obviously we're having a bit of connection issues. But just final words from you on Canelo himself and where you think
he's the best. Listen. Top 5 right now is a bit harsh on him, but I think if he beats Benavidez, I think he can go up increment. I think now Crawford's the best. Then it's Inoue. Then it's Usyk. Then it's Canelo. I feel like if Canelo beats Benavidez,
he goes second,
we can rearrange the order. Only see, here's the thing: the two guys that are is like, wait, is Inoue is gonna have an undisputed match this end of this year, isn't it?
Yeah. So this Usyk also has that as well. That's the thing. Usyk also has his fight coming up as well.
Oh, see what I mean? All of those guys are potentially going to be 2-time undisputed. So, yeah, Canelo can't beat that. However, when they say the star of boxing and the face of boxing, that's Saul.
That's Saul.
He's the guy.
He's the guy. listen, I'll be honest with you. For me, he's always been my number one guy. Like, even if I always said it, if you dare to be great, I can't punish you by dropping you down in the rankings.
Yeah. Listen,
That's
man.
the only thing I would.
They're in to be great. Oh, no. Before we go, this is another side note as well, because I know there's going to be a bit of chop for change just due to technical issues on this episode. All the people chatting rubbish on Derek James, yeah. Get one thing straight. Get one thing straight, yeah. My man, only a small amount of people can chat rubbish on Derek James.
I would say
Bomac, and that might only be it. Yeah. Terence Crawford's team, because at the end of the day, everyone's saying, "Oh my gosh, these fighters when the light was put on."
What about Eddie Reynoso? But actually,
no, I can't even give Eddie Reynoso that, because at the end of the day, not trying to be funny and not to take anything from Canelo, that was an uphill battle for Charlo. You were meant to win that. It was an uphill battle for Charlo. It was more on Charlo trying to be great than it was Canelo being this defiant contender.
Yeah.
But back to Derek James. Those losses on his fighters have asterisks next to it, because there's a difference between your fighters just losing to any, just, getting upset by random guys. Both those losses this year have been to all-time greats.
Yeah. In
Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. So cut the crap on trying to come for Derek James. Can he be better? Of course he can. Can there be specifics that you can maybe point out to him? Of course they can. But at the end of the day, those are guys in undisputed matches and trying to be great. So all these people acting like he won't call him trainer of the year, like his fighter didn't just get undisputed last year, like another one of his fighters weren't unified last year. Don't comfort. I'm not trying to hear no Derek James slander from very few people. Unless your name is Bomac, bro. I'm not trying to hear it.
I think his Bomac can only make that call from jail right now anyway, so you know what I mean. He's not even making that call.
Good Lord.
Good Lord, we're gonna wait. Because that hearing's coming up very soon. But we'll wrap up today's episode.
Hey, free Bomac though, man. Hey, free him up, man.
He's got fighters. You know, like who was it? There was someone used to shout, he's got kids and stuff. But he's got fighters. Let him go. He got fighters.
I'm so annoyed I've forgotten, but
yeah, I know what you. But with that, we are gonna wrap.
Listen, hey, free up Bomac, man.
Look, he broke the law, but he didn't do any.
Listen, man, he didn't even. No one got touched, no nothing, man. Free him up, man. I need to see my boy Crawford be great, and I need to see you, man, become world champion. So free up Bomac, man.
Do you know what? We'll do a video soon, sometime this week as well, about how Frank Warren is very snaky with his dates because of Eddie Hearn and what he tried to do. I hear it. I'm not against it. You got to get one up on your competition, but we'll work on that for a video later on. As always, guys, if you enjoy the content, drop a like, share, subscribe. Till next time, stay weighted.